am knowledgeable, resilient, and excellent. I am a fountain of value and an ardent problem solver. I am a voracious learner, so nothing is too difficult for me to master. I am a doer with a genius intellect. I am a CyberGirl! Who are we? Who are we? Who are we?
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Today, a day in the life of our systems engineer continues today. So I want our cyber girls to join me to welcome Kemas Ohale. I hope I'm pronouncing it right.
That's correct.
Who is the head of Global Information Security Operations for SMC Corporation. Cyber girls, please, can you give him a round of applause? That's good. That's good.
Yeah, so nice to be here with all of you.
So I'm going to do a brief introduction before we start today's program. So, like I said earlier, today we're having in our midst Kemas Ohale. Is the head of Global Information Security Operations for SMC Corporation. I'm going to be talking briefly about his biography, and then we kick off for today. Kemas is a transformational and inspirational leader who relishes every opportunity to optimize IT costs, bring business activities into IT decisions, develop strong operating models, foster strong organizational relationships, maximize IT talent for success, and serve those around him. He currently serves as the head of Global Information Security Operations for SMC Corporation. This is a global manufacturing automation company with presence in over 70 countries that span across APAC, the EMEA, and America. Prior to SMC, has held several leadership positions in security, infrastructure, and operations, to include Senior Director of Information Security at Anthem and Senior Director of Infrastructure Operations Tech. Kemas also serves as an advisor to two cybersecurity startups in Indianapolis, which is in the USA. With a humble beginning as a systems engineer, Kemas worked in Wall Street, New York, supporting global stock market trading platforms. Our dear cyber girls, will you all join me once again to welcome Kemas to today's program, which is a day in the life of a systems engineer. Please, can you show Kemas who you are as a cyber girl? Can you clap for him? Give him a round of applause. You can unmute your mic so that we can hear your clap, your resounding clap. Good.
Thank you.
Okay, that's very good. Thank you. Thank you for that. So we are going to start quickly now. Today we are taking a day in the life of a systems engineer with Kemas Ohale. And for every one of us joining today to know what it feels like to be a systems engineer, we are going to be asking Kemas some questions, which he will be shedding more light for us, so that any one of us that wants to take this career path, we would understand what it entails when we say someone is a systems engineer. So I'm going to start by asking Kemas to tell us a little about how he started his career as a systems engineer. Did you know right from college that you were going to be a systems engineer? And did you follow your plans through if you knew that?
Well, now that's a good question. So now, growing up, I wanted to be a medical doctor, right? So and it has to do with having a family member who is a physician. I would go to the hospital, and I really enjoyed watching the way she took care of her patients, right? I loved all the little gadgets she plays with, and I go, oh yeah, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor. So I continued with that passion, but I realized that was not really for me. I loved computers. I like to make computers do things, solve problems with computers. So, but I didn't know how to start. Now, keep in mind, I don't have a degree in engineering. My degree is in business and cybersecurity. But I had friends around me who were kind of doing systems work, and they encouraged me to look into it. So what did I do? I went and bought myself a book and bought myself some systems and began configuring all of them. So when I was reading, I was configuring the systems, and I realized that I can actually become a systems engineer. So I went and applied for a position, and I got the job. So that's how I really became a systems engineer. So I think the takeaway there is, if you understand your passion, you have to train yourself. You have to encourage yourself and push yourself, and you can really be anything that you put your mind to.
Very correct. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for that. So I'll go quickly to the next question. Who is a systems engineer? Can you touch the difference between a systems engineer and a systems administrator? What does this role entail, and what were your day-to-day tasks?
Yes, absolutely. So the title systems engineer varies from company to company. Some companies have systems administrator positions, very similar to systems engineering positions as well. I think the main difference, though, is the type of work that you do. So as a systems engineer, you have so many different responsibilities. You can either be the one to configure your servers and make sure your servers are connected to the network, and make sure that applications that run on those servers or systems in your data center are always available. You also have to make sure they are secure, right?
Yeah.
Now, you can work in a 24/7, 365 environment where you are monitoring your core applications and making sure your systems are always up and running, or you can be more of a kind of back end systems engineer, where all you do is really you configure your systems and then you transition them to a different team to kind of handle what we call steady state operational monitoring and support. So it varies. It all depends on the kind of role that you end up having as a systems engineer.
Thank you for that. And I hope our cyber girls are able to spot the difference between being a systems engineer and a systems administrator. So I'll go to the next question. As a cyber girls fellow that is just starting their career in cybersecurity, how would they know that this systems engineer career path is a great fit for them? What do you think they need to know that would show that they are in the right career path to be a systems engineer?
Yes, another great question, Ireti. So as a systems engineer, you also do have cybersecurity responsibilities as well. You have to make sure your system is secure. And how do you do that? First, make sure that you are deploying patches. So those patches are really a way of fixing vulnerabilities. Yeah. When you have vulnerabilities on your system, it gives bad people access to your environment. In our industry, those bad people, we call them threat actors, right? They are the ones that are always looking for a backdoor to gain access into your environment. So when you identify vulnerabilities on your system as a systems engineer, you have duty and responsibility to make sure that you have those fixed. And one way of doing that is to make sure that you keep your patching level up to date. So that's one. And secondly, when it comes to user access, having people gain access to the systems to do their work, it's your responsibility to make sure they have just the least privilege they need to get their work done, right? And then lastly, when it comes to your company data on the server, you have to make sure that you protect those and give only those who need access to see the data or files those access. So, while you may not have the title of a security engineer or analyst, and maybe you have the title of a systems engineer, you also have responsibility to making sure that you secure your systems and keep your company safe.
Thank you for that. Just to recap that for our dear cyber girls that are listening to this, there is always according to what Kemas has said now, there's an overlap in the systems engineer role and a cybersecurity function. So meaning that even as you're going through these career paths, then you can also be fit for a systems engineer career path. So the next question I'll be asking is, what are the skills required to break into this field and excel while in this field?
Sure. So I'm sure everybody is probably expecting me to, talk about some technical skills and, how you need to configure servers and then, network engineering and all those things. No, I'm not going to go there. Okay. What you need to have as a critical skill is the ability to solve a problem. Remember, you can always learn the technology, but if you don't understand how to solve a problem, then it's going to be very tough for you to be successful. Remember, technology is used to solve problems. It's used to enhance processes and make things better. So always think about, what problem am I trying to solve and what technology is best for that solution? Once you understand that, then you go into the technical skills. So now this is what you really need to really be successful in that role from a technical standpoint. The ability to configure systems, make sure that you understand how to navigate through all of the commands, and understand when the system is not performing well by using technical commands and tools. Those things will help you, excuse me, to make sure that you maintain the overall system's integrity to be successful. And how do you acquire those skills? Well, like me, I bought books, right? And I read quite a bit to understand the technologies. You can take some classes as well that will help you. Like in this program that you're in right now, you're going to learn a lot of technical skills, which is important. Please pay attention to those. But remember one thing though, it's good to have those technical skills, but it's very critical that you understand how to use them to solve a problem. In cybersecurity, is how do you use those technical skills to protect yourself, protect your organization from threat actors and bad people that are looking to steal your data. Always keep that in mind.
Thank you so much for that, Kemas. Problem solving, continuous learning, very important. Thank you for that. So the next question is, if someone here was to start out in a role as a systems engineer, what are the other InfoSec roles or paths they can pivot their career to after some years?
That's another great question. So there are so many different options out there. One of them could be endpoint security, where you are responsible for making sure that your antivirus and anti-malware and are all up to date and configured well on the endpoint. So that could be one path because you already have the systems background. All you have to do then is to make sure that you understand how to protect those systems by the installation of so many different cybersecurity tools, right? So the foundational level is knowing how to configure your systems, how to tune your systems, how to keep it secure. So you can graduate into endpoint security. You can also go into network security as well, because as a systems engineer, you understand how to connect your systems to the network, how to make sure that systems can talk to each other in the network, to make sure that you can also support your application and your users. So you can see yourself transitioning more into the network security as well, where you're configuring VPN to allow for secure communication. So there are so many different options, available to you once you have that foundational knowledge of systems engineer. Now, keep in mind, you don't necessarily have to start off as a systems engineer to go into cybersecurity, right? You can always make that direct, connection with cybersecurity without being a systems engineer. So it all depends on the path that you want to go.
Thank you for that. The next question I'll be asking is about the major challenge you have faced during your role as a system engineer, and how did you handle this challenge?
Yeah, so as you can imagine, I didn't know what I was doing in the beginning. I made a lot of mistakes, and I learned from them. So didn't know the commands to use to solve a problem, and I brought some environment down, which is not a good thing. But the takeaway for me is to always ask questions. Always be very truthful. When you do something wrong, raise your hand and say it was me. That's the only way you will learn. Because if you recognize what you have done wrong, it allows you with humility to make yourself better. Okay? Don't ever hide anything when it comes to in this role of systems engineering or cybersecurity. Because if you hide something that you have done wrong, that could have a huge impact that could affect your career. So again, ask questions, make sure you read and study and understand your technology, your environment, the problem you're trying to solve, and you're going to be just fine.
Thank you so much for that. Our dear CyberGirls, just to reiterate that again, you must be hungry for knowledge. You must always ask questions. And if you've made a mistake, be ready to say that you are the one so that you can learn from it. So the next question I'll be asking, did you love your job as a system engineer? If yes, what did you find most interesting about your role at that time?
Yeah, I loved it so much because I had an opportunity to solve problems. I'm the type of person that will go above and beyond to make sure something is taken care of. So as a systems engineer, my role was to solve problems. It could be a new solution that we want to implement that requires a systems engineer's role, maybe to install something on the server or to make sure the company's strategy is going as planned. So solving those organizational problems is really something very intriguing to me. And when something goes wrong, the ability to solve the problem is just, it puts a smile on my face, right? I just like to help and solve problems. So as a systems engineer, that was huge for me. So
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Being a problem solver, very important. So the next question I'll be asking you is, what advice would you give our young CyberGirls fellows that you wish you knew earlier before you started your career? Meaning that what did you wish that you knew earlier before you started your career, and how can our CyberGirls benefit from this?
It's very easy to want to be like somebody else. Growing up, I wanted to be a medical doctor, right? I wanted to be like, someone in my family. When I loved computers, but I didn't care about that computer. I wanted to be a doctor because, I see someone in my family being a doctor, doing wonderful things, and I go, yeah, that's what I want to do. Well, it took a while for me to realize that's not for me. So if I know what I know now, I would have just followed my heart, believed in myself, and just went ahead for the thing that I strongly believe in and had passion for. So my recommendation for all of you is try not to be like somebody else. You are unique. You have a gift. You have a talent. Make sure you identify your passion and go for it. Now, it's not going to be easy, but just go for it. You're going to make some mistakes. You know, you may fail along the way, but just never give up. Go for it, and you're going to be just fine.
Wow, that was so spot on. Thank you so much for that. And I'm going to be asking a final question that is not related to being a systems engineer. What is your all-time favorite movie? And can you tell us why?
Oh, wow. I would say Spider-Man. So Spider-Man movie, you know, reason being, you know, he's very he solves problems, but he's not out there telling people, yeah, it's me, I am the problem solver, you know, I did all that, you know. So no, he's very humble, but when something goes wrong, he goes out and solves the problem. So that's really something that I connect with when it comes to that. So for all of us, you don't always have to let the whole world know that I am the best in all of this. No, you be humble enough to solve a problem and be happy in what you do. That's all that matters in life.
Thank you for that, Kemas. And I think the summary for today that I want our cyber girls to take away is that be a problem solver. The moment people identify that you can solve a problem, they would want your service. They would want you in their corner to render something to them. And to be successful in this field, just like Kemas has mentioned, you must be ready to solve problems and ask questions when you are not clear on what to do. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation and sharing from your wealth of knowledge to our dear cyber girls. And I hope that they have learned one or two things from what you've shared today. We really appreciate it. And I want our cyber girls to once again give our guest speaker a round of applause. Please, can you unmute your mic so that we can hear your clap? Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Do you have any final words?
Appreciate it.
Do you have any final words for our cyber girls?
Absolutely. As you're beginning your career journey in cybersecurity, always remember one thing. In cybersecurity, we are dealing with bad people. All they want to do is to steal your identity and cause problem. Now, your role is to understand how to use the technologies that you're going to learn to help stop them from having impact in your lives and in the lives of the companies that you're going to work for. Please believe in yourselves. Know you can be anything that you put your mind to. Some people may tell you that you cannot do it. Well, that's some people, that's not you. Just know that you can and go for your passion. And always know that I will be here to support you every step of the way. And take good care of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kemas, for this session, for this wonderful session. And I believe that our girls have learned so much from you. We really appreciate your time and for honoring our invitation. Thank you so, so much.
My pleasure. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Have fun.